In this problem, we have g of x is equal to pi times x, and h of x is equal to x squared plus sine x. We need to find h of g of x first, and then use that to find h of g of minus 1. So let's first find h of g of x. Let me change the color first. So g of x is pi times x. So I can plug that in for g of x. So all of this will just go into there. So you have pi times x. And then now we need to evaluate h of pi times x. Well, h of x is x squared plus sine x. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in pi times x everywhere I see an x. So I'll put one in right there, and I'll put it in right over here. Now let's just evaluate that. So we have x squared. Well, that'll now become pi times x squared plus, and then sine of x now becomes sine of pi times x. And then to just simplify this, the square distributes to the pi and the x. So we have pi squared times x squared, then plus sine of pi times x. And just like that, we have found h of g of x is this function right over here. So now we need to evaluate it at minus 1. So to do that, wherever you see an x in this function, just plug in minus 1. So we have pi squared times minus 1 squared plus sine of pi times minus 1. So let's evaluate this. Pi times minus 1 is just negative pi. And then minus 1 squared is just 1. And then pi times 1, or pi squared times 1, is just pi squared. Because whenever you multiply something by 1, you get that something again. So you have pi squared. And then sine of minus pi. Now, if you're watching this for Algebra 2, you might not have learned this yet, but whenever you take sine of an integer multiple of pi, such as sine pi, sine 2 pi, sine 3 pi, or sine of negative pi, sine of negative 2 pi, or sine of negative 3 pi, it always becomes 0. So this whole thing is just 0. And then pi squared plus 0, well, obviously, that's just pi squared, because adding 0 doesn't do anything. So h of g of minus 1 is just pi squared. And if you want to put this into a calculator, it is roughly 9.87. And just like that, we are done with this problem.